So, hello everyone in NBA 502, and I really hope everyone's doing well in these crazy times of viruses and staying home and oil going negative. And I guess I can't take a bath no more because I bought oil and I filled my bathtub up with oil, and I filled up the condominium swimming pool with oil. So I'm probably going to get in trouble. But anyway, those are my jokes for tonight. But boy, oil is going to be cheap. Home heating oil and gas for your car, I guess, in the next couple of days. So anyway, we're going to talk about taxes and debt and everything in this chapter 15. So corporations pay taxes on their profits, right? And the point is they pay it after interest payments are deducted. That's why corporations love debt. So this interest, they write off the interest on the debt to the bondholders. And this is why corporations love debt. It lowers their corporate taxes, right? So you see, there's a big incentive to use debt. And I think we talked about that before. Corporations love debt. Now, dividends, they have to pay taxes on. They can't write those things off, right? So, all right. Well, there's an example, I guess, from your book here. It says, consider Macy's. And after this last shutdown in the economy, we may not be able to consider Macy's much longer. They'll probably be selling more stores. I think they're in big trouble. Anyway, so Macy's had an earnings before interest and taxes, EBIT, right? Had interest of approximately $2.8 billion in 2014, and interest expenses of about $400 million. And so their corporate tax rate was 35%. So if we look at the next slide, we can calculate their net income. They probably have there's a mini, I guess, income statement there. So the net income was lower with leverage than it would have been without leverage. So here, with leverage means paying, not having to pay interest, writing off the interest on the debt, right? Right. So, and over here, there's no leverage, so there's no interest, right? So income before taxes is you got to subtract the 400 here, right? Real simple, and there's nothing to subtract from here. So now the tax is calculated on this lower amount as opposed to this higher amount. So you can clearly see the difference in taxes here. I guess that's a difference of about 140 million, it looks like, huh? So here's the net income. Okay. So here's the net income. So I guess when you first look at this, it's a little deceiving, okay? Because it shows here the net income is higher than the net income here. So you say, well, there's more for the in dividends for the shareholders. But again, that's pretty deceiving, okay? Because they did make more here because again, they paid 400 million there, and there's a 1.56 billion here, right? So it's a little deceiving when you first look at that. So you can see here that the debt obligations reduce the value of its equity. So as I previously said, here's the income available to the equity holders. It looks like this, you're better off here, but the total amount, now here's the important point, the total amount available to all investors, okay, was higher with leverage. So you can see that here, right? This is the total amount available to all investors. So you can see how the leverage really come into play. So without leverage, Macy's was able to pay out $1.82 billion to its investors. With leverage, Macy's was able to pay out 1.96 billion. And where does that extra 140 million come from? Take a guess. That's called the interest tax shield. Okay, that's called the interest tax shield. So that is the reduction in taxes paid due to the tax deductibility of interest. Okay, and it's a simple calculation. The interest tax shield is your corporate tax rate, which I believe was 35. It's much lower now, right? It's not 35 anymore, right? So times the interest payments. So in Macy's case, right, so this gain was equal to the reduction in taxes with leverage, and you can see that's 140 million. So the interest payments provide that tax savings of, again, 140 million. So better than paying it to Uncle Sam. So this is why companies love to have debt. The only problem is if you have too much debt, then analysts start looking at your debt load and they start getting nervous. And if you have to take any more debt, you've got to increase the coupon to the new debt holder, new bond holders. And that could be a problem. So, you got to weigh that very carefully. Such like the condition that Sears is in now, right? Sears is in a real tight spot now. In fact, I don't even think they're going to make it anymore. Oops. Holy smokes, I moved a lot. Anyway, how many did I move? All right. So anyway, so here's how we compute. We're going to compute the tax rates. This is a problem from your book, I believe, right? So here's the pro forma or forecasted. I think pro forma and forecasted kind of mean the same thing. Income statement for this company. And it's got a 25% tax rate, corporate tax rate. What is the amount of the interest tax shield in year 2019 through 2022? Okay, so anyway, here's the interest expense. Okay, so this is kind of what they're driving at. Here's the interest expense. So here's the income before taxes. I just subtract this off of that, right? You're subtracting that. So here's your tax rate, and here's your net income. Right? So if you didn't have this, you would get the tax rate on the 769, right? Or the 857. And that difference is your shield, right? So here's what I was just talking about. Here's the interest expense. So the interest tax shield is 25% times the interest expense, right? So, well, there's a mistake here, right? It looks like there's a mistake. It says 35% here. Hold on. I believe there's a mistake. Right, it says given its marginal corporate tax rate of 25, and then they wrote 35. So now let's see, it's 25. I don't know if this is 25 or 35. 35 would be about 1/3, right? So I don't think this is 1/3. And let's say this is around 800. 35 would be a third of that. 25 is around two. Yeah, this is a typo here, right? Everyone see that's a typo? Okay. And you could do the math and figure. Yeah, look, a quarter of 900 is 225. So it's 25%. All right. Good thing we caught that. So here's the 25% times the interest expense. So you could do it either way. And so here's the money you saved, right? So the interest tax shield enabled DFB to pay an additional $82.5 million to its investors over that period of time. This is an alternative example, and it's the same deal, right? It's the same deal. And here's the corporate tax rate, and here's the 5.35 million in interest expense. So you simply save on that. So, debt provides a corporate tax benefit each year. So, this benefit is computed as the present value of those stream of future interest tax shields. So, we're going to start doing present value of all the benefits, right? What happened here? Hold on, I got to fix this. Okay, so here, excuse me, is where we left off until I touch things. It's very touchy, this computer. So we get the present value of the stream of future interest tax shields. And all right, so the cash flows a levered firm that pays interest, pays to investors will be higher than they would without leverage by the amount of the interest tax shield, right? So obviously the money you're saving on paying taxes, you can give the cash flows to the either the bondholders and the shareholders, right? So it's a simple equation. So cash flow to investors with leverage is cash flow to investors without leverage plus the interest tax shield that you're saving money on. All right. And they show that graphically right here, right? Here's the pre-tax, and you can kind of see they make if you look at it simply, here's the levered, here's the unlevered. So you got a smaller tax box. Everyone see that? So the earnings increased by the amount of the interest tax shield. All right, it's pretty straightforward. I don't think there's anything too fancy there. Okay, so. All right, so Miller Modigliani has a proposition. They're famous guys, Miller and Modigliani. So the total value of the leveraged firm, which everyone should know, exceeds the value of the firm without leverage due to the present value of the tax savings from debt. So you can see here's the levered, and we saw that already, right, in that little graph. Here's the unlevered, and here's the interest tax shield, the present value. Okay? So you see that. All right, so I'll make a part 2 on this. I'm like 20 slides in. I'll make a part 2 on this. Okay.